in the White House.
The argument is, number one, that's the biggest market in the world. Number two is those countries are already selling to us. I keep on pointing out there are a lot of Japanese cars here in the United States, almost no U.S. cars in Tokyo. Number three is that if we don't write the rules, China will write the rules out in that region. We will be shut out. American businesses, American agriculture, that will mean a loss of U.S. jobs. The argument is...
So, what I've just played you guys is something that is being done at the very moment what Trump is trying to do. However, we have Democrats that are opposing this in the comments. Trump didn't, like, my dad, who I really love, made a comment like, he used the wrong formula. And I'm like, what does the formula have to do with 60 to 70 countries coming to the table to renegotiate tariffs because they know that it's going to hurt them? The formula means nothing. And I even mentioned in the post, I said, what if the formula was made to be a lot, right? So what if it was made to be bigger? Because whenever you negotiate anything, you always start high. Because if you can't start low and make your way up. That's not how, negotiations work. It's you start high and then you move your way down because you've created the scare tactic or the fear in that person. So they'll take any deal at that point. I also see other Democrats in there saying that Trump is an idiot. But the difference is that Obama spoke about it. Nancy Pelosi spoke about it. Chuck Schumer spoke about it. Bernie Sanders, thanks to Coffee Grinder, showed me the clip, spoke about it. None of them did anything about it. That's the difference. So they all told us what the problem was, but they didn't tell us what the solution was, or they didn't actively work on trying to take down this Chinese unfair trade and the tariffs with these other countries and try to take on why we're not a manufacturing capital anymore. They just told us, hey, this is what's going on, but we're not going to fix it. And you know what happened here? What happened here is that Trump is taking this on in his second term. The reason why I think he is because this would be unpopular in the first term. It's risky in your first term. Because if it doesn't work or, even what happened with the stock market, that one time can leave a bad taste in people's mouth. But you do it in the second term because it's like, okay, I'm putting it all on the table now. I have nothing to lose because this is my last term. And so now I can do this right. Also, there's a lot of presidents that would not be able to deal with the heat that Donald Trump is dealing with right now. Right? Just a week and a half ago, the stock market did a big drop. It's climbing back up, by the way, and because I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, okay, it's climbing back up. Like, I remember the Dow was at 50,000. Right now, it was at 40,000. I don't know if I got it on my phone, but yeah, it's basically like $10,000 away, right? So yeah, it's $40,524.79. So like it's $10,000 away, and that $10,000 can be made up. It also did a huge jump on last Wednesday. So that would be unpopular for a president to do that, but he's trying to make things right. And so my thing is with this video is, why don't we give it a chance? Oh, because it's Donald Trump that's doing it. We are such a foolish nation of people sometimes because we're letting other countries take advantage of us in the trade system. Okay. And we know it's unfair, but instead we want to just keep it in place because that's just the way it was set up, even though it doesn't make sense to us. If we're buying 25% of basically the world's crap, we're the biggest buyer, but it's not fair to the buyer, but it's fair to everybody else selling products to us. When do we fix it? Oh, as a Democrat, you don't ever want us to fix it. You just want us to leave things alone. So then what happens when we have to make drastic changes and it's very, very catastrophic for us. And then we look back and say, well, I guess if we would have really fixed that the unfair trade system, maybe we wouldn't be in this mess. Maybe if we did manufacture things and it happens to be a war, maybe we didn't have to wait for PPE from China when there was a global pandemic going on here. I remember I work in the medical industry, and I remember when the C word hit, and I was in a hospital, and when it was everywhere, and nurses were like, where are we going to get our PPE? They're waiting. We don't want to get sick. There was a panic. We had to wait for PPE to come in. And where does our PPE come from? Somebody can say it in the chat. Most of it comes from China. So when we were dealing with a huge problem, we had to wait instead of being able to produce. That's all I want to say on this. Is I find it funny that even though Trump is doing with what a lot of Democrats said they would do, now that he's doing it, he still gets criticism. Even when you show them videos of their presidential savior, Barack Obama, saying the same thing that Trump is doing. And the first thing they want to do is point out what Trump supposedly did wrong. Like I'm hearing people talk about a formula. I'm hearing other people talk about he's caving to China. You know, he's tanking the stock market. It's like you guys have to give this a chance. My last point on this, shout out to Roro in the building. My last point on this part right here is this. Democrats, you guys have to stop crashing out. You have to stop crashing out every single week. Since January 20th, it's April now, okay? And I'm watching and I've heard conversations of Democrats crashing out every single week since January 20th. No, since November, really. November, and then January, it hyped back up again. You guys have to give things a chance. You can't always just give a response as soon as a story comes out. Just like, for example, they wanted to call Trump incompetent when there was something with an El Salvadorian migrant that was a clear clerical error, right? They just fixed it, or they just told you what was going on with that guy. And the El Salvadorian president said, I'm not going to release this guy back into the United States. But the Democrats reacted. See, he doesn't know what he's going to do. See, he's going to deport you next with the tariffs. Oh, stock market crashes. See, I told you. And then a couple of days later, the stock market goes back up again, and it's slowly climbing back up. You guys have to give things a chance. I know you guys really want us to regret our votes. You really want us to regret our votes, that you're looking at every situation as that opportunity. But you're going to need to wait and see for the next 4 years what Donald Trump's report card is. You can't grade him after 2 months. I knew a guy, played basketball with him, and we were talking in February, and I said, hey, man, after we talked for 20 minutes, I said, let me just break it down to you. And I said, are you willing to just give him a chance? You know what he told me? Shout out to Kyle. He goes, we're already doomed. I'm like, what? I'm like, he just got in. Like, you're not going to give it we're already doomed. I'm like, yeah, okay. I said, see, that's the problem, is that you don't want to give him a chance at all because of how deranged you are. And he could do a good job, but because you don't see it, you're gonna make it seem like he's doing a horrible job. But yeah, Kyle, you said Trump caved to China. That's rich coming from them. Yeah, man. This is what they're saying, right? And this is why I also said, Kyle, this is why I was telling people, or just a couple of people I spoke to, I said, just give us some time, right? Even me, I'm like, this tariff thing is new. This is new. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm some economist. I'm like, this is new. However, I do think the end result makes sense. And then about a week or a couple of days later, after he smacked China with like 145% tariff, the strategy now comes out, there's an exclusion. So and again, this goes to what the Democrats are overreacting about and responding too early about. Oh, your iPhone's going to now go from $1,200 to $3,400, as if the American person's not going to find a way to finance that same iPhone. Like, let's be real. We live way beyond our means anyway. But what happens? He excludes phones, semiconductor chips, right? Computers. So there's an exclusion there until they can figure it out. So before they overreact, they should take in the facts. However, Kyle, that would go against everything that they believe in. All right, let me read y'all comments, man. Because this is the only reason why I like doing a live stream show in the first place, is because, I like being able to hear what y'all got to say. And plus, once in a while, y'all bring something to me I might forget, or, send me a nice, cool clip. Order says they're trying to blame the Shapiro incident on MAGA. Yeah, I seen that.